Hi guys, and welcome back to Ades Workshop, and this is going to be part 2 of the ball turning attachment. Now in this part we're going to be making the lower bearing carrier that takes the swivelly bit on the top and holds the bearing. So let's crack on with it, shall we? Okay, swivelly bit. Not the most descriptive term I've ever used, but you know what I mean. The bit that swivels on the top. Okay, so we're all switched on. Where are we? Usual story. Running at about 775. And it's about 75mm diameter. 70mm I think it is, this aluminium. 790, something like that. As I say, it's a remnant from an old job before. I've been asked by a couple of viewers. I used to do it a lot. I used to shout out what speed I was doing, or what RPM, and I've got out of the habit of it. Well, I still do it now and again, but I've got out of the habit of it. So yeah, okay, point taken. A lot of you enjoyed that, especially the sort of newbies to the game. Get an idea of what RPMs I use. I'm not saying the RPMs I use are the right ones, the wrong ones, but the ones that work with this lathe and this, you know. So we're getting down to the meat now. I'll bring you out a bit and you can see, well, you can see how fast I'm traversing that place. I haven't got the carriage locked, perhaps I should have. I will have for the finishing cut. First couple of cuts I was taking like a mil off at a time. That's about a half mil. Let me just lock my carriage. I think that's about cleaned it up there. I will take a scratch pass across there. Speed things up a bit and run a little bit slower. And I might even treat it to a bit of WD-40. Shall I? I think it will. Right, so that's doing 1000 RPM. My good old WD-40. Just a squirt. Would help me put a cut on. You watch me get a wrap around now on this finishing cut. Okay. So that's the bottom face. Temptation for me to put my fingers in there and move that, but health and safety police will tell me off for that. Okay, that's nice. So I'll square my tool up now and just take a cut across the OD. Oh, back you come. I just want to clean this up. A little bit more. Speed her up, I think this is going to be a finishing cut. It's still got a bit of WD-40 on it, so you just check that's cleaned up. I'm sure it has. Yep. So change tool over and we'll have a little 45 on the bottom of there. How big a 45 do I want? I think I'll go for about a millimetre. Just slow down a bit because I'm cutting over a wider area. Okay. So we'll ignore the hole in the middle. That's going to be drilled out from the other side afterwards anyway. So that's the base, which is going to sit against the base plate. And that's the OD of what's going to be the flange on the bearing carrier that I will be able to bolt down through at a later stage. So I've turned it around on the chuck, and as you can see, the little flange that I want to keep is actually, well, I put the piece against the back of the jaws, and it's actually narrower than the jaw thickness, so I'm going to have to do a bit of jiggery pokery a bit later on, and it means I won't be able to machine against that shoulder because it's obviously it's up underneath the jaws. But not to worry, there's always a way, so to speak, so we'll come to that when I turn it back round afterwards, and I'll show you what I do there. Now, the bearing thickness is 13 mil. I'm trying to keep this as low as possible. I don't mind if the bearing sits flush to the front face when it's sunk in. And I'm going to have 3mm of clearance on the underside of the bearing. So the overall thickness of this part is going to be 16 mil. And it's 30 mil at the moment. So yeah, I got 14 mil to come off it. Much the same as you just saw me do. I'll take a mil at a time and start ploughing it off here until I get, I'll leave it like 0.1 over size, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, I'll bring you back when we're done. I'm sure you don't want to see me taking 13 mil of material. Did I say 13? I think I did. 13 or 14 mil off here. Anyway, I'll bring you back when I've done it. So final cut. This should leave me at about 16.1. What am I doing? 920 RPM. So let's have a look, see what we got thickness wise. 16.17. Okay, that allows me a bit to take off the other side when we're done. Okay, I will be boring it from this space 13 mil deep to take that bearing, but I think what I'll do is just rough machine down the outside as much as I can, and I want to leave a 6 mil wall, 6 mil thickness of wall either side of the bearing. So the bearing being 42 and 12 is 54 mil. So my carriage is just still slightly nipped. Straighten my tool up, a little bit of cant on it. I think what I'll do is set carriage stop here, just before the jaws. That'll be safe. Lock my carriage stop off, and stops me being a silly herbert and bashing into the chuck jaws if I'm not concentrating for a moment. Okay, I'll just take a skim across that OD, see where we are. What did they say? Sometimes I should do a sketch. 42 and 12, 54 I'm looking for. And that's 65. Yeah, 65.7. So if I'm looking for 54 and it's 65, that's 11 mil. I can take 5.5 aside. So I'll set a 0 there. I'll take 5 mil aside and we'll have another measure. So 5 mil aside won't take me long at all. That's 1.75 mil aside in one cut. I'll do this in real time. See you there in a bit. That's 3 mil. Oh, get out of it. Focus. That's 4 mil aside. I'll have to clean the bed out, I'll show you in a sec. 4.6. And that is bang on 5 mil aside. Lovely little squirt. Don't you come start flying up at me, you little monkey. Okay. So, yeah, as you saw, it didn't take very long to take 5 mil off a side. 54 I want. 55.6. Let's take another 0.7 aside. Yeah, horrible stringy stuff. Oh, get out of it. Right, so that's another 0.7 aside. The last bit was just a 0.1 cut. Where are we now? 54.13. Yeah, 0.05 aside and I'm happy. That should be very close. We'll give it a spray. Nice, gentle, steady hand feed across here. Okay. I don't know if this is going to show on the calipers, but you can see it. 53.99. I think we can live with that. Yeah, as you can see, taking that lot off, we got a bit of a bundle of swarf. We'll have that out of there and have just a quick clean through so we don't get horrible wraparounds. Okay, that's got rid of all that lot. I think next what we'll do is whack a hole through the middle. So when I bore a hole through this, I need to know a size. Just looking at the bearing, and the inside of the outer race measures at 36.6. I think I'll do a hole at 38.6 and that'll leave a mill lip visible should I ever need to tap it out. So 38.6. And I will write it down this time. Will be no good writing it there, will it? 38.6. Okay. So, yeah, I mean straight through with the centre drill. Now there is a little centre drilled hole in the other side, so I'm going to have to be careful here. I don't know what's in the other side. I know it'll drill out. Yeah, I think I've just broken through into the other side. I think what I'll do, in case that hole in the other side isn't true, is I'll put a nice large drill through there first. Maybe I'll get my big drill set out again and do it with a 14.5 first and go from there. So yeah, slow things up a bit. 14.5 mil drill straight through. Bit of WD. I've got plenty of clearance on my jaws at the back. Okay, and then we're going to go straight in with a 23, which is the biggest drill I've got. Well, biggest drill that's practical. Oop, come away, that's better. Chattery. There we go, we're back to normal now. Hidden the drill behind a mountain of swarf. Yeah, I mean it's only a little late. I mean 23mm drill is yeah, quite a size. Let's get this lot out the way. So there we are, straight through 23mm drill. Let's have those drills out of the way. So I'll put those drills away and set up a boring bar. So we know that hole's approximately 23. We're looking for 38.6, so let's call it 38 for the moment. 23 to 38 is 15, so I can take 7.5mm aside. So If I just touch off, there we go, set my DRO, hold on, there, so 7.5 mil aside, there's 1.5 mil aside straight out of it. I got 12 mil boring bar up, set nice and short, stop it chattering, and again I've set a carriage stop so that when I break through the other side I'm not going to whack the end of my boring bar against the jaws of the chuck. Whoop. That was swap. Out you go. So what do they say, 7.5 aside. Out. That's 7.5. Another little squirt. Speed things up a bit. This is just the, not the bearing size, this is the hole that's just avoiding the lower race, that's all. Or the inner race, I should say. Okay, so let's see where I am. I did write it down, 38.6 at my finish. And I'm measuring 37.98. So I want about 0.6 out of it. So I'll take another 0.3 aside. And we should be good to go. There's 0.2 aside. Shattered a bit when I stopped. And there is 0.3 aside. So, I'll just put a 0 on my DRO. I want to bore this just a slip fit on the OD of the bearing. And I want it to be the depth of the bearing 13 mil deep. So I need to get a 0 reading off the face there. And I know I can go 13 mil deep, and I need to open it up to 42. So let's say it is now 39 mil, which it isn't. That leaves me 3 mil to come out, which is 1.5 aside. So I can safely take 1.5 mil aside. I'll do it in 0.5 mil cuts to 13 mil deep. So I'll only go 12.9 deep. Ten, 11, 12, 12.9. I'll get rid of that. Another 0.5 mil. That should be around. What did we say? We said we were talking to 39 to start, so we should be on 41 mil now. But we're not. We're smaller than that. So again, I'm going to go into 12.9 deep. There. So that's taking it out to 41. So I can go another 0.5 mil deep, or 0.5 mil bigger in diameter. I'm going to do a 0.3 and then a 0.2. And then we'll have a measure. So that's 1.5 mil cut aside from where I started. $11, $12, $9. Okay. So we'll start with rough measurements, which is the calipers. .75. I know I can take 0.1 aside safely and just bozo proof myself. No chance. So it's going to be 0.1 aside. There it is. Good, a magic fluid. And into 12.9. So I've finished the diameter. I'm just spacing that bottom out. I have to get in shot, I'm afraid. To 13 deep. Okay. Got a little chatter in that bottom corner, but not to worry because there's a big radius on the bearing. So yeah, I mean, I finished off the diameter off camera. I got a bit, things all got a bit tight and a bit polishy and a bit nip and tucky. So yeah, the bearing now just fits down into the hole, and that is the bore done. So now what I'm going to do is turn it round, hold it on the bore here, on the inside, and just finish off this outside shoulder. So I've flicked it round, and I'm holding it with the jaws on the inside, not on the bearing surface, but on the clearance hole. And I haven't screwed it down like stupidly tight, and it is back hard against the jaws. Well, that just allows me to finish this shoulder, because now I've got some access to the outside. So yeah, I'm just going to rough this out. Won't go too mad at it because I'm not gripping it particularly tightly. I'll go down to that 0 I set. I think if I just come out very slowly. Here we go. That's cleaned up my outside shoulder. So I've still got my chamfer there and there. I need to chamfer that corner there. So up with a 45 tool. Hopefully I can get in here. Oh, I've got a bit of dirt in there. Yep. Yep, we're all safe. Chamfer on there, and that is, I believe, that is the little bearing holder complete. So I think I'm going to put some, like 4 holes in the outside of here to take some M5 screws again, decide on a spot on the base plate, spot them through, and that can then be bolted down onto the base plate. Nice. So I've discovered a couple of little design flaws, nothing we can't get over. But the first one being is that the holes are too close to that flange to be able to get an M5 cap head in. The heads are too big, so I'm going to have to skim the heads down on the bolts. Second problem is that over time with a steel bolt, or the stainless as these are, screwing down on that aluminium, it's going to score and pick up. So I'm going to make a little brass washer with a flat on to go under them. 3 of those. And the major problem is that when this is all bolted down, I'm not going to be able to get to that bolt under there. But as it turns out, I mean, it's no great problem. I can machine a little cutout in there so that I can still access that bolt to screw it together. So I'm going to make a start on doing that lot. Well, I've just skimmed the heads down on the 3 bolts, and yeah, there's about 0.1 clearance now between there and the flange. I could have turned a bit more off the outside of here, but yeah, I mean, that's quick and simple. And they're only stainless steel bolts, they're not stupidly tough. So, carry on, spot them down, and then we'll look at where we got to put a clearance hole. So I just bolted the ring on with its 3 bolts, just loosely. Well, they're tightened down, but they're not tightened. I've got to shorten these 3 screws down, just to make them right. I just filed that one off. What I'm going to do now is drill through that hole from the back, which is the problem hole, to put a hole in here that I can open out to give me access to put the 3rd base plate clamp screw down. So I'll do that next. I think that should do it. So yeah, as soon as I can get them in shot, in focus. Oh, 3 little tiny washers with a flat on them. The hole breaks in about 2mm into the wall of this, which meant that I can't drill it out with a full 8mm, because obviously the drill's going to jump around like all shapes. So what I'm going to have to do is put it up in the vise or in a fixture of some sort and just run an 8mm milling cutter through from the 5mm pilot or the 5.3mm pilot on the other side, and just run an 8mm cutter through to give me clearance, be able to get a screw in and out of there for bolting down the base plate. Yeah, a little bit of a faff, a little bit of a bad design there on my part. But yeah, I'm working with what I got, and I'm trying to fit more in on this. I mean, ideally this would have been mounted further back, but I don't want to have any holes where I might need them later on, you know, for a different job when I come to do, you know, a compound replacement up this end. So, okay, so we're all set up and ready to go. I've locked a cross slide. And as you can see, I'm just going to gently put that hole through there. And there we are. We now have access to the rear screw. So I've got the all the screws cut to length, and that's the base plate and the bearing block completed. Well, there we are, that's the base plate, the screws with the little brass washers, and the bearing holder done with its hole so that I can actually access the hold down screws. Now, some people might say, oh, you got lucky with that, and to them I'd just say, yeah, you're right, I got lucky with that. Anyway, sometimes you've got to be lucky, eh? Now, this is going to be part 2 of the, or has been part 2 of the ball turning attachment, and I noticed when I uploaded part 1 yesterday that it was the 99th video that I'd put up. So, bit of a milestone this video, and it's going to be the 100th video that I put up on Ades Workshop in the 14 months since I started uploading. In that time we've had over 250,000 views, we're very nearly on 2,000 subscribers, and can I just take this opportunity, guys, just to say thank you so much for all your comments, thank you for all the thumbs up, and thank you for subscribing to all of you. Without you lot, well, it wouldn't be worth me doing it. So heartfelt thank you everyone, and here's to the next 100. See you all soon, guys.